Hear ye, brave souls and curious onlookers, gather round as the fires of fate crackle and the drums of destiny thunder across the Iron Realm. Welcome to episode 49 of our ever-unfolding saga, an odyssey forged in courage, betrayal, and choices that could topple kingdoms. It all began with a single spark in episode 1, and now that ember has become an inferno. If you've only just arrived, oh wandering soul, fret not. You've stumbled into the eye of the storm. But the entire journey is preserved. Every sword clash, whispered secret, and divine reckoning, waiting for you to binge with abandon. Each Wednesday night, our fellowship gathers at the sacred table, where imagination reigns and dice defy gravity. From there, the tale is cast into the production dungeon, where tireless trolls shape it with hammer and flame. And come Sunday, it rises anew, polished and radiant, unleashed upon the world via YouTube for all to witness. But lo, our reach stretches further still. We've sown breadcrumbs across the digital wilds. Facebook, Instagram, the Iron Realm Wiki, even enchanted scrolls of Pinterest. Follow us, stalk us, meme us. We revel in it all. Now, before we descend into the abyss of tonight's tale, let us first honor the champions who will shape fate itself. When I call your name, rise from the shadows. Speak your first name, your character's name, their race, class, and level. Let the crowd know who dares challenge the Iron Realm tonight. First up, we have Bradley.
I challenge the Iron Realm tonight. Yes, my name is Bradley, and tonight, as most of the time, I'll be playing Kingfisher Blue, a level 6 Er'fro'ren monk, way of the open talon, who is smarter than you, and you know it, and now you can get that on a t-shirt.
Next up, we have Rhea.
Hello. I am still Rhea. I still play Lominde, who is still a level 5 Eladrin rogue.
Next up, we have Allison.
Hi, I'm Allison. I play Theo and Kat. They're a Kalashtar and Cat duo, Rogue 6.
Then we have Matt.
Hey guys, I am Matt, and I play Tolnar, which is a level 7 half-elf rogue thief.
Then we have Lisa.
Name is still Lisa, and I play Aaron Stonefell, Elf Paladin, level 5. I come from the frozen lands of the north, and I fight for the innocent in the name of the true bog. May his glory and light shine on your path, fellow warriors.
And last but not least, we have John.
Hello, I'm John. I play the newly leveled seventh level human paladin, Zechariah, and I'll ditto Aaron's charge there, but I will be under the banner of the Alpha Bog with that sentiment. Alpha Za.
As for me, I am your humble dungeon master, your narrator, your tormentor, your guide through chaos and wonder. Steel your hearts, ready your spells, and let the story unfold. Episode recap of last week's episode 48. Blood is thicker than... Never mind, we lived. The blood ran thick, the stakes ran high, and the dice, well, they broke things. It all began with Kingfisher Blue landing swift strikes on a blood elemental, only to roll a devastating 1 against the blood giant, snapping one of his own talons. But the monk recovered in spectacular fashion, delivering a monk-tastic low blow that brought the behemoth to its knees. Tragedy struck as Q's steadfast steed was engulfed by crimson fury. But without consequence, Kingfisher, revealed as the true shepherd of the sheep, delivered righteous vengeance with a feathery father's scorn. Zechariah's black ice spear pierced the blood giant's heart, but just as he prepared to add the hulking corpse to his growing undead menagerie, the blood began to whisper, and then the body was swallowed by the stairs, the chamber echoing with the haunting horns and gibbering murmurs. Meanwhile, Erin throws her legendary Legion of 5 fisticuffs, an action of both prayer and pub brawl epicness. Lomende slices through a blood elemental with a psychic flourish, and Theo and Talnar executed a deadly dance, though Talnar's short sword shattered in the final flourish. But it was Relpek, the frazzled astronomer, who claimed the final kill. Erin handed him the honor, and with trembling hands and a gleeful cry, "Poke and prod and do what you must. Make sure that things turn to dust." He proved he's more than brains and paranoia. He's got bite. And with a quick round of manic handshakes, Relpek sprinted up the stairs, voice echoing, "Let's go!" Join us for episode 49 as the adventurers ascend into the chapel above, where answers and perhaps the final piece to the telescope await. What truth lies within that sacred hall? And more importantly, will the staircase try to eat anyone else? Let's roll. Good evening, fellow warriors.
Good evening.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. I think
All right. Hello.
better than that.
Huzzah!
Good evening, fellow warriors.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! We are here.
Happy pre 4th of July.
Yeah.
Glad to see everybody here tonight. As our audience probably knows by now, David, who plays Q, our quirky little halfling, is not with us tonight. He and his family are on vacation this week and next. And so we hope that he has a wonderful time off away from things of this world, and that he comes back refreshed and renewed, ready for our next campaign. For tonight, we hope to end Er'fro'ren and begin anew in the next 2 weeks. Episode 50 is actually going to be next week on Wednesday night, and we want everybody to be here because it's going to be a special night where we celebrate our accomplishments with 50 episodes, as well as 6 years of playing D&D as a group. Some of you obviously are new, but you are family. And we have a lot that are not with us for various reasons, things that are going on, but they are still part of our family and are always welcome at the table. So we want to celebrate and have everybody there. So please, audience, tune in next week when we have our 50th episode. But before that can happen, we have to get through episode 49. And as our adventurers know, Relpek ran up the stairs saying, "Let's go, let's go." He was excited by the possibility of what will happen next. And with trepidation, everybody else began the ascent up to the main chapel level. And with that, unless anybody has anything that they want to do on this level, anybody? I'm seeing a lot of people going, no, let's get going. So we will go on and move to the next level. Go up just a little bit so that I can get the flag. There we go. That should reveal to everyone the chapel. Move us up and move it out so that not only the audience but the our players can see the inside of this massive chapel. The staircase that you ascend from is actually behind a gigantic statue, a 50-foot statue of a monk in robes, but is holding a sword and a shield in front of it. And this is the centerpiece at the far end of the room. And as you come up, you see the back of the statue and the light shining through all of the windows that encase this gigantic room. The ceilings are stonework as well as wood rafters. You can actually, from your vantage point, you can look down from the central dais where you're standing and see the bleached bones and tattered clothing of the dream. Can never remember the name. Dream Squires that once attacked your party as you were trying to make your way through this particular room. The squares that you see before you are actually pillars that go up into the ceiling above, holding up this gigantic cathedral ceiling. Sun is shining through the windows that are up in the ceiling as well as along the outside walls. Each of the pillars do have small ornate torches, and they are lit with kind of what appears to be a magical incantation to keep them lit, and they have been this way for a long period of time. Relpek is the first one up the stairs, and he is just hopping. He is hopping from foot to foot. He is so excited. And when he looks over at everyone, he says, I know that you've been here. I know that I've been here. Nothing should bother us while we're in this room, especially if you have already been here. But it appears that it's been a long time since we came up these stairs. When did you descend into the caverns below?
Zechariah speaks up, says, I've never been in this area. Myself and Kingfisher Blue actually appeared in one of the levels in Er'fro'ren. So
yes, it was my coworker, like human annoyance, Bronson, who entered this dungeon originally. Relpek, answer me a question, Relpek. Why does this monk have a shield?
Because he was, as far as I know, he's the protector of the monastery.
Yes, but
he is one of
it ruins all his monastic abilities by carrying his shields.
Well, true, but he, whether he's carrying it or he is just displaying it, I can't tell you one way or the other. But have any of you been to this level before?
Polnar looked at Relpek and said, I have. It's been some time. My memory's a little hazy on how far back, but it's been at least a few years. Something happened when we were taking a rest, and something happened down there that put us under a very powerful type of catatonic sleep type. Even though I cannot be put to sleep by magic, but something ended up happening where it even negated my natural abilities to sleep for that long. So it's been quite a long time since we've been up here.
Well, I know that Rebek's nodding his head, and he's still hopping from foot to foot with excitement. He says, I know that the Medusa had abilities to do strange things. But I didn't know that she had the ability to put people to sleep. Excuse me. But that being said, it's good that you are alive, because she could have slaughtered you as you slept and you would never have known. But thankfully she is no longer here, and we can continue getting out of this place. As he's looking around, he looks into the two areas to the left and to the right, the little alcoves, and he sees the bodies to the left. He looks over and he sees the bodies of or bones, essentially, and clothing, tattered clothing of several dream squires that were the protectors of this particular level, that were under the influence of the Medusa. He sees their bodies laying over kind of within that area. And he says they were protecting that area. And he looks over at the other area on the other side to his right, and which would, in your case, would also be to the right. Let me do this so that I can, so that you can understand where I'm talking. He looks to this area and sees that there are no bodies, and he says, I know I've been in that area. I've never been to this area to the left. And it seems that you or somebody else had an altercation with some of the dream squires that were protecting this floor. There is a passage in this to our right. And there's a staircase, and he starts to make his way over that way. If I can get to him, I can move him. It would help things out quite a bit if I could. There we go. So,
hey, Chris, I went and checked the just to verify if this is true, but that the blood elemental, the blue one, was killed by the black ice spear, and you had it marked as an undead from the last game.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It was a blue elemental, it was the blood elemental, the blue one, the one that you had tagged blue.
Okay.
And I killed it, and it rose from the dead. And I went and looked at the video just to make sure, and you had it marked with a skull and crossbones. And I even made a comment, said something like, "If this one doesn't get swallowed up too by the chamber." But if you didn't deal with that one, I should have a blood elemental undead.
Didn't deal
with me.
So that's on me.
That's all right. I just want to, for whatever's getting ready to come up, we're going to take all the help we can get. So
totally understandable.
There you go.
Unless it has DIC, it might be a puddle of blood, you know.
Just an ooze. Okay.
And I'm now, you know, as long as Relpec, and I'll even explain this to him that, you know, these things are under my command, and even though they look horrifying, they're actually servants of good. And I want to assign both the blood elemental and the mimic to basically shadow Relpec. Even if I'm not in vicinity of them, I want them to basically flank him at all times, whenever possible.
Okay. Well, both of them are under your control, so you can.
Right. That's cool. Okay, I'm just stating it for just so.
I will if we get to the level below, I will have to create another one because I
That's cool.
took it off, not remembering that we had another undead with us.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over it fast. It was literally one sentence in the transcript, but I did verify that it was a true thing that happened last time. So I had to check myself.
Relpec starts to make his way over to the other area. Does anybody want to look around the room before going any further? It's completely up to you guys.
My intent is to shadow Relpec.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll toss a feather in there and see what happens.
Okay. So the area that you are in is considered to be an alcove. It's a 30 by 30 room. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 30 by 30 room. 3, 4, 5. 5 by 6. Yeah, 30. And the center that is a lighter color has a cast iron fence all the way around it. It's a perimeter. The center of the room would normally, and Relpec explains this to you, normally if there was a funeral, a casket would be placed here, and then the chairs would be around the outside edge. If it was if something else is going on in the main part of of this room, if there was something else over here like a small gathering or a small worship service or something like that, the chairs would be within that square or that rectangle of the cast iron fence. And
Be perfect for a bog mitzvah.
Not necessarily a bar mitzvah, but it would be
Bog mitzvah.
a small worship service or something like a what we would call nowadays a Sunday school class, something to that effect. Would be a breakout session would be in this area rather than being in the main room. But it was also used for funeral services where small gatherings of family or the monks when they're burying another monk or something like that, instead of using the entire room for the service. So that being said, Relpec looks over at the fence and gingerly makes his way over using his legs to go over the fence and into the area where it is completely open. So, Kingfisher, are you flying over this or are you stepping over?
Flying.
Are you landing in the area or are you still flying?
I'm going to hover over Relpec.
It looks like the elemental is on top of Relpec, so I'm going to move him over John to see.
Is there any check to get over the fence? I mean, okay.
It is Relpek is a small human. He's not a halfling or a dwarf, or he's a smaller human. But the fence is not high enough that he has to literally climb over it. He can step over it.
Cool.
It's basically it's ornamental in nature. Separating two areas from each other out of respect for the dead or the class or whatever happens to be there. There is a gate, but Relpeg just decides to step over it because it's not that high. So in doing so, let's see. Got to get over to bear with me just 1 second here.
Zodiac, black, brown, albino, polar.
What?
And
You said bear with you. I'm naming the different kinds so we know which one to act like.
Good lord.
bear left, bear right.
I mean, I didn't make the joke about someone casting iron, around an area, since it was cast iron.
Bare naked ladies.
Well,
Aaron, did you go around the edge, or did you step into it and then step onto the other side? You went around.
we all know we're in trouble when he's clarifying. And thank you for joining
You
us
should ask
for
the
tonight.
question.
We have a TPK now.
That ends episode 49 and this campaign. Roll new characters for next week.
New campaign for the new campaign, which is I need everyone to make that is inside the fence. I need everyone to make a performance check.
Stepped into a cabaret.
Okay, and I will call out your name. Tell me what you have. All right, Kingfisher.
I rolled a 14 on a performance check.
Okay, and then Q is not with us. Zechariah.
Dirty 20.
Aaron.
Like you said, if they were inside the box.
Oh, that's true. You do not have to do it because you are not inside the box. Well done. Okay. Talnar.
21.
1.
What's in the box?
Lominde.
Nat 20.
Okay. And Theo and Kat.
16.
16. Okay. John Zechariah, I need you to make a performance check for both of the
And just no modifiers. We'll just do just a regular D20.
straight. Yes.
Look at the reds.
I mean, it depends on what their wisdom modifier is. I mean, if it's a negative,
They're
The mimic rolled a 1, so I rolled a crit 1,
Okay.
and then the blood elemental an 8.
8. Okay.
So the mimic a 1, blood elemental an 8.
But we could tell it was failing the performance check because, don't be a mimic was, being a mimic.
Okay.
So his performance was unaltered.
But I'm bummed.
Underperformed. Okay.
Is
Oh.
it under pressure?
All right.
T-shirt is extra comfortable.
All right. Kingfisher Blue, please tell me Orange, green, or red?
Orange.
Orange. You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
That was a rather vicious orange. Six.
The,
Six, you said.
Yes, 6. Zechariah, mimic, green or orange?
Green.
Okay. Mimic takes 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Copy.
And the blood elemental takes 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
As you step onto the center within the cast iron fence, the floor itself begins to shift down, almost like a pressure plate. The whole thing moves. Now, I should ask this. Kingfisher Blue, were you flying or were you still on the floor?
I said I was flying and I was hovering over.
So you do not take bludgeoning damage because you were flying.
Oh, that's why I was doing this. Thank you.
I'm sorry. That's part of the reason why I asked for clarification earlier, and
I did. And I told you I was flying and hovering. Yes.
Sorry about that. That being said, you do not have bludgeoning damage, but the mimic and the blood elemental both take damage as the floor shifts and shifts down. And as it does so, the floor starts to move. If everybody is looking at Aaron on the other side of the fence, okay, the floor underneath you begins to move to your left. Okay, Aaron, everybody else, and you see the floor, it's moving to your left. Okay. Or no, to right, excuse me. I don't know my right from my left. Is at any point while I'm a DM and not a player, I mean, I just don't know what I'm doing. And it's very apparent. But the floor shifts 5 feet over to your left, so the mimic ends up squishing up against Zechariah and Theo and Kat, you know, as you're moving over, and there is a staircase going down.
Chris, as a point of clarification, does the blood elemental come from your much beloved creature codex? I need to get the stats for the blood elemental, and I know a lot of times one of your go-tos is the creature codex, right?
It is actually the creature codex, page 38.
I got it. I found the one, the creature codex. I just wanted to make sure that was the one you were using.
Okay, Matt, you have your hand up.
Yes, and it was more so for, you know, an easy joke. So everything in a box to Aaron's right is everything Aaron has is to the right and is in the box, right? So, you know, instead of everything in the box she owns is in the left and on the left to the left.
Okay, so when the floor shifts over, and
you'll have to walk it by yourself, Tolo.
It's into a dark room below. So, that being said, I will.
It was more so of a reworded song lyric reference.
It was just terrible. So, that's,
you know, well, I can't really go in too much with it with, you know, copyright infringement. So,
shuffling on and
sauntering, silly walk. That's what it is. So,
Ministry of City Walks.
There we go. So the audience can actually see what you guys are seeing. So that the green box that you see is where the staircase is. What do you guys intend to do?
So is the stairs coming from coming from our side of it, or from this iron the person that cast iron?
It's going down. So you basically step onto the top step and then start walking down.
Okay, that's why I was trying to clarify, depending which side it's on, if we have to jump on it or not.
No, it's it. I mean,
I will fly like an eagle into the staircase.
okay. Is anybody following him, or are you waiting to see what happens?
We may be seeing if he's gonna come back as, a little extra crispy or just regular.
Remember, I'm a kingfisher, not a canary. So.
Hey, we didn't say you were gonna fall, in there.
No, but I'm saying the canary in the coal mine reference. They were hard. So.
That would have been when you guys were actually in the lavatory on like the 3rd level down when they got flooded by a former player character.
That's among his.
Yeah, that's when the canary would really come in handy. So
I think we were thinking less canary and more burnt chicken.
Yes.
As long as it's not lava chicken.
Lava chicken.
I was doing my absolute best to make sure that wasn't brought up.
The chicken from Kentucky, as well.
Where is Kentucky? That's not part of the.
I think Kentucky is in Ithaca.
Okay, so Kingfisher, when you go down the stairs, kind of flying down the stairs, you enter into a cavern that is dimly lit ahead of you, and it is a pretty substantial room that you enter into. But there doesn't appear to be anything within the room other than a door at the other end. It's up to you whether you tell the rest of the group.
Room is empty. There's a door at the other end.
And here comes Kingfisher flying.
It will remain a door until it becomes a jar.
Or a mimic.
Whatever Relpek's doing, I'm doing. If he's going downstairs, I'm going downstairs.
He's following everybody else. You're all kind of going in the same direction. So
Let's go. Come on, Relpek. Let's go.
all right. And so
I'll do a perception check just as a general precaution. That's an 11. My passive perception is 14, so all right.
and
I did it.
Coffins.
Sorry, say again.
I did a perception check as well at 15.
I gotta get my 2 maps together and make sure that we get the blood element over there.
If I recall, there's a love-struck vampire down here somewhere waiting for Bronson to return.
No, that would be a different level. You guys have already been there. This is
new.
This is a different map.
Not going to metagame. Sorry.
It's okay. All right. And again, Zechariah, you have control over the 2 characters. Okay. So, you are in a relatively large room. I apologize that the map is not hidden from y'all. I thought that it was, but apparently it's not. So you
Not to scale. I didn't have time to paint it.
Thanks, Doc. All right, Doc, it's great. Thanks. So, but yes, there is a door right there near where Aaron is located, and the room is dimly lit. There is, let's see, three, what am I trying to think of? Not candelabras, but candlesticks on high posts with a single candle on it that are illuminating the room. And there are two small lanterns on either side of the staircase. So, completely up to you what you decide to do.
I rolled another perception check just to, to see what might be interesting, and that was a 22.
To your right is a pile of stones from the ceiling above, and appears to be that there is a small silver horn laying in the middle of the in the middle of the debris.
So you're saying these stones fell?
Yes. As long as they didn't Aaron's part of the
I'll investigate the horn.
Okay. Upon investigation, you see that it is just a plain horn that's actually made of a animal horn, as well as on the tip there is a small silver section that has that for blowing into to make noise. On the other end, that the sound would travel out of the horn end is also encased in silver, stamped silver. It's a kind of ornate, but not, fantastic in its in presentation, but would probably fetch you about 10 to 15 silver pieces.
Alrighty then, I will toss that in the old bowling bag.
Well, you weren't going to toot your own horn?
No, not yet.
Well, it's his. He can't toot it until it's his. Now it's his. He can toot it. So
it's in his possession.
When it's in his possession, he can toot it all he wants. So, anybody else want to do anything in this room, investigate, or moving forward?
I rolled a perception check, 23. I'm looking at this door.
The door is actually made of steel. Though on this map it looks like it's wooden. It's actually made of steel and has a bar across the middle of it to keep it closed.
No locks, no,
That's
just a bar.
the only lock that it has on it is that steel bar going across.
No etchings, no writings, just a plain door with a bar.
Plain door with a bar.
No QR code.
No.
Yeah.
Q's not here, so he can't put his.
That's true about it. Only Q can read those codes.
That's part of the reason why U isn't with him. U is waiting on them, waiting on him in the chapel. So.
Relpec has not been in this room before, I'll ask.
No, I've been in this room before. I've been in this section before. They dragged me around when they were doing whatever it is that they were doing at the time. I was basically dragged all over creation. It's just been a while since I've been down here.
Do you know what's outside this door?
This happens to be crypts that the monks had members of the order were placed here. I recall that there's several sections, but there's also room at the other end that we actually stayed in for a while they were moving around the complex. we stayed in that room.
So you mentioned that you thought your satchel or the globe was in the chapel. Wasn't that up above us? Is that where the chapel is?
That's what I recall, is that we were in the chapel, but
He said it was in the crypt.
it could be anywhere in this complex, is what from my recollection. But I mean, if we are here, we might as well check, because like I said, we stayed in this room in this part of the monastery for several nights while they did and set up and put things together, or whatever they did. We stayed in this room, and then they moved me to another room. And I mean, there's every possibility that it could be in one of the crypt areas, or it could be in that room, or it could be in another part of the complex. I don't know, because the satchel that I had it in, got pieces of the telescope knocked every which way. So it could be here, it could be somewhere else. I don't know.
Every which way, including loose.
Yes. All the pieces that were in my bag were loose, because when they attacked me in my laboratory, I had my telescope taken apart, because I was trying to ensure that all the pieces fit together properly, and so that I was getting ready to transport it to take it to the kingdom, and to show the king and queen. And when I was attacked, they were in pieces, and the Yanti just basically scooped up everything and threw it into my satchel, along with some books and some other things that I tried to hold on to. And then they took off with me in tow and dragged me up here, basically against my will. And by the time I got to the or I was deposited into the area where you found me, myself and my satchel had been all over the place here. And as you found, it looks like you found everything but that center globe. So, I mean, as far as I can tell, every place that you have gone to, you found a piece of my telescope, and now all we need is this last piece. So there's every possibility it's on this level, or
let's find that. In Relpic, your genius was underappreciated in Havenwood, and it's a crying shame. I respect you as a man of science, and let's get this wrapped up.
Okay. So, what does the party want to do?
Probably not stay behind a door with a bar on it.
I will attempt to open the door.
Okay. Please roll a strength check to try and move the steel bar that is holding the door in place, or locking the door in place.
16.
You manage. It takes some effort, and you may actually ask for some help. But
yes,
you
help.
talons to lift that bar enough that it comes away from the L-shaped brackets that it's in, and it clunks to the floor, raising a bit of dust as it does. The door itself opens just a bit with a basically like a whoosh of air very stale, very dank, very dark smell from the other side. You can your senses kind of waft the smell of death, not new death, not anything recent death, but old death,
Ancient death,
ancient death.
but not liquid death.
Yeah, yes, liquid death is good.
Yes, oh, I know.
Liquid death. But the recall, if you will, that Er'fro'ren itself, the monastery has been here for centuries. So the monks that guarded this facility and used it for their monastic Ooh, don't get to say that very often. Monastic
Our monktastic activities.
activities, that they would be here for forever, and then interned within the crypts of the monastery. So here we are. So everybody else, what are you doing? It looks like that Aaron and Kingfisher are already out the door and looking around. I will say this, that the
Few's not here to do it, so we had to make up for lost time.
that is true. Faster you go, the faster you fly. So, what does everybody wish to do?
I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to
I want to
keep this
see
coffin
what's
around.
inside here.
Well, we're splitting the party apparently.
Well, sort of.
When Relpec moves, I move.
Relpec is kind of watching everybody else and is walking with them. So he's going to move as everybody else does. If everybody
Okay.
standing around guarding him, he's going to be very claustrophobic very quickly.
Come on, Ralph.
Who knows whether he will stay sane or go off the deep end based on that. So Hugh is going to hang back and stay at the staircase and wait on everyone. And of course, Hugh is up above, so he's probably going to go back up there and get to know you, you three.
Oh, you three.
No, there's more than three of us.
No.
You Trey.
So, tell me what y'all are doing.
I'm waiting for
I'm
them
going
to
to
get hit by-
I'm going to throw caution to the dust in the wind and open this coffin.
Okay, strength check, please.
I'll let them, get bit by zombies or vampires or whatever.
Well, if you're into that. Yeah, nothing happens. I rolled a 6.
Okay. This particular crypt, and it appears to be the one across from you, both are heavily secured. That nails appear to be embedded in such a way that the top of the nail is actually bent over, ensuring that it can't be lifted up or pushed off or pulled off.
Will someone without hollow bones please come try to open this?
Connor walks up and he does have a crowbar.
Okay.
Hands it to him. Hands it to Kingfisher. And say, I will assist, but I'll let you stay closer.
All right, I guess I give it another shot. What I roll with the crowbar for help?
With an assist, would he have advantage, Chris?
It's not really an assist. You just handed him a tool. If you were
Well, no,
actually standing next to him pulling on it, that's a different story.
I said I'm gonna, not I will have him closer, and I will, help him with it.
Okay. You can't. Yeah. It's still going to be a strength check.
Yes, but with a simple tool, a crowbar, a fulcrum and a lever.
Yeah,
would that give me any sort
there
of...
is advantage on that instead of just using your natural ability.
All right. So what should I add? Or just
It's just going to be a +1 to whatever.
+1? All right. Oh, that's a dirty 20, making it a 21, actually.
You managed to snap the wood, and the nails pull up pretty easily using the crowbar. Inside is a what appears to be the skeletal remains of a monk, a dwarven monk, in pale blue. What used to be a dark color blue robe. There's nothing else in there but the body itself.
No globe.
Nope.
All right. Aaron?
Did you say both of these look the same? Like they both had big spikes in them?
Well, it's not spikes. They have nails, coffin nails around the edge to keep the lid down. And those nails, instead of sticking straight up and being nailed down, the tops of them have been curved over so that when they are nailed down, they actually curve into the wood to hold it down. Okay, so it's kind of like the nail top is a hook that pushes down into the wood to keep it from being pulled up.
All right. Can I borrow that crowbar?
Calling our hands it over.
All right. And we have a 21 with the crowbar, adding 1.
Okay.
Strength.
Pulling or using the crowbar, you manage to...
Crowbar.
Say again?
Crowbar.
Crowbar.
Yes.
Yeah, using the crowbar, you manage to break the wood, and the nails pull up, and you see inside a dwarven monk, the remains of a dwarven monk, the skeletal head as well as the beard, in faded blue robes. There doesn't appear to be anything else in the
He
cabinet.
doesn't even have any jewelry? Come on, man. Okay,
So,
moving on.
anyone else? Anyone else?
I say we continue on. Zechariah speaks up and just says, "Let's looks like a dead end up here. Let's head down this way."
6 years running, grain soak ale reigns supreme in the kingdom of Ithaca. Crafted by the Grain Soak brothers in small batches, originally served only in the Dusty Kettle Tavern at Ballistavia, now served across the realms. A wine is just a wine, but an ale is a brew. Grain Silk Ale now served across Ithacoth and Asterag, not sold in Afamath. Drink responsibly, not suitable for halflings, gnomes, or fairies.
It might be in there.
And again, I'm going to keep quizzing Relpeck. Did you and I know you were drugged through this area, but is there any reason that your orb or backpack would be shoved into any of these coffins?
No, we never. As I recall, I don't remember us ever doing anything where I was involved with the caskets. I was dragged into the room when they were working with the caskets, but I was never near the caskets. In other words, I was not forced to put anything in it, take anything out of it, and my bag stayed with me the entire time.
Well, I'm convinced.
Let's continue through this chamber and see what we can find. I don't think that there's any reason to mess with these coffins.
There.
I mean, that's
Wise words, Zechariah, wise words.
Talnar says that's where we found a couple of things in the past, is inside coffins.
He's got a point.
I mean, it's like going, hunting for, some kind of eggs and, don't open them and they have stuff in them.
I remember.
You know what? Thea was gonna get out of formation and she's kind of gonna hang in here.
Is it because there's a box and, you have the urge to go into it?
I mean, it looks interesting. Also, the map is shifting.
I had to shift it because part of the map at the top was not showing, so I need to down one or a couple of boxes.
If it fits, she sits.
Okay. So, Lominde, are you joining everybody else?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Kind of up above everyone. So, okay. So, Kingfisher, you're looking in one of the caskets.
Yeah, short rest.
Didn't you have a tryst, or not you, but didn't Bronson have a tryst with a
vampire
creature inside of a casket?
Two of them. One male vampire, one female vampire. Bronson's equal opportunity seducer, and and they're both waiting for his return.
Still in the box.
For eternity. And they'll wait for eternity.
So, Kingfisher, you are standing, or are you flying over the top of this?
Yes, hovering over the box, seeing if there's anything
The
interesting.
The box is open. There's nothing inside of it other than satin lining and a small pillow at the head. It has a layer of dust and dirt over the satin and the
Nice and white satin. All right, yeah, I'll fluff things around, toss the pillow aside, and just basically I'll search the coffin.
Okay, investigation check, please.
16.
16. The pillow itself, being of satin, is nice enough and is in good enough condition that you could get a fair penny for it. The satin of the inner lining, you could certainly tear that out if you wanted to and sell that on the market and get a fair price for it. But other than that, it's just straw underneath the satin and like a goose down inside of the pillow, but that's about it.
Did you say goose down?
Goose down, yes.
How offensive.
So,
I'm sorry, but that's what it's made out of. no.
This could have been a friend of mine.
Could have been a cousin.
I mean, could be just some duck up,
Well, yeah, I'll gather the satin and things because we might want to sell T-shirts later with made of satin.
With Er'fro'ren written on it.
Yes, Er'fro'ren.
Welcome to the Saltine
Havenwood
Keg.
Saltine Keg. Yes.
Yeah, Saltine Keg, Havenwood location. Next location at.
There's a list of all the locations throughout the game.
Yes.
Okay. So, so you managed to tear out the satin and stuff that away into your bag, as well as I'm assuming you're taking the pillow as well.
Yes.
Okay. So, setting the pillow inside of your bag as well. What Lomende and Talnar? What are the two of you doing?
Well, I'm gonna try to pick the lock.
The lock?
Yes, it's a coffin with a lock on it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, let's.
At the same time, Theo and Kat and Lomende and Aaron, what are you?
So,
Could I try and wedge a dagger underneath the coffin in front of me to see if there's anything interesting in there?
You can certainly try. Why don't you roll and find out?
Is it a strength check?
It's for not wedging a knife.
I mean, that
Yeah.
could be Dex.
Or
for
yeah,
us.
no, it's dexterity. It's a dexterity check. What are you? So while
That, or it could be also
at,
us doing a sleight of hand too. I mean, it's that dexterous sleight of hand type of thing.
you can certainly try and do that with that modifier. Theo and Kat,
Yeah, 27.
hold on to it. I'll come back
sorry.
to find out what Theo and Kat's doing and what Aaron's doing. So
I know it's a little weird and out of the blue, but I'd like to make a wish.
okay. 20-sided die.
I wish.
That would be a 17.
17. So,
Mhm.
what is your wish?
I wish for the mimic's tongue to be attached to the human's missing tongue.
Okay.
So
And
she
the
can speak.
human's missing tongue's name is
Cat.
Cat. Okay. Just want to make sure that we understand the human's name is Cat. And so you are going to attempt to attach using a wish
Yes.
the mimic's tongue, the one that was torn out. You're going to try and attach it to the stub of tongue that you have in Cat's mouth. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
With a 17, it takes time, but Cat can feel the tongue, the stub tongue, and the mimic's tongue attaching and adhering to each other. It will take you 24 hours before that tongue is fully attached. And during that time, all sorts of things could possibly happen. Okay. So, so you're taking your tongue into your own hands. So, but yeah. So everybody else that's in the area can actually see you doing this. You're totally distracted of you taking that tongue and putting it into Cat's mouth and trying to swallow this tongue, or not swallow, but put this tongue into your mouth to try and attach it. So, okay.
Well, I'm glad I didn't try to have that as a snack.
Oh, that may be the reason why. Okay. So, Aaron, what are you doing?
Okay, I am taking my mace and I am going to smack the corner of this casket. And I rolled a strength check of 15 so I'm just gonna whack it.
So
as hard as I can.
Okay. So I'm gonna finish yours, and then I'm gonna work my way back to the other two that are doing stuff. So, Aaron, when you smash into it with your mace, you create a hole. When you do, and the splinters of the wood fall into the casket, you can see the feet of a dwarf below. One of the feet still has a boot on it. The other is a skeletal foot with the toes and the ankle and the lower part of the leg, the lower leg. You can see that there's satin below it and are wrapped around the monk's foot, but otherwise, you can't see anything else of what's inside of the casket unless you continue smashing, going up. So, that being said, you think about what you want to do. We'll go on to Lominde. You were trying to pry up the lid of the coffin with your dagger. What did you roll?
27.
27. Okay. You manage to pry up the lid, and when you do and it slides across, you find that the coffin itself is completely empty. It doesn't even have satin in there or straw, and it doesn't have a pillow. It is completely empty. Okay.
Could I roll? Sorry, while other people are doing something, could I roll like a perception or investigation check to see if I can discern why?
You can certainly do an investigation check to see if you can find out why. So go ahead and roll that. While you're doing that, Talnok,
Okay.
you said you were picking the lock.
I was attempting to. I rolled an 11, and if that doesn't work, that's because Tolnar's looking over, see what Theo and Kat was doing, and go, "Kat got your tongue?"
That's terrible. So, 11 does not open the lock itself. As much as you'd like for it to, the lock is a little bit more sophisticated than that, and the chain is very thick.
I was distracted. I mean,
say again.
I was distracted seeing, a tongue going in someone's mouth. Was not expecting that, that to happen and it not falling out. So,
Okay. So think about what you're going to do next. Lominde, what are you doing? You were doing.
I rolled. I was trying to figure out why it's absolutely clean, and I rolled a 25 on an investigation check.
Unfortunately, it appears that in their rush, the monks rush to close up coffins of the dead. They closed this one without putting anybody. That's pretty much what you can ascertain from the way it was done. They just didn't. They closed it, didn't think about it. And Aaron, what are you smashing?
If I yell, can Zachariah and Relpec hear me?
Oh yes, they can hear you. They can hear everything that's going on.
Okay.
It's very.
Zachariah, come here, please.
All right. I'll tell the.
No, I need Zachariah. Come on.
I got you. I'll tell them. Okay, if Relpec's coming, then everybody else is coming too.
Get your jewel of light out and look in this coffin while I smash the other one.
Okay, I'll pull out the gem of brightness. I probably had the gem of brightness rolling anyway.
I only have a 6 for my smash, so I did not smash much into this other one.
Okay.
It's harder.
As you are, Zechariah, as you are pulling out the gem of brightness, Relpec, who's come into the room, grabs Erin's arm and pulls on it, and pulls her kind of over so that she's within earshot, and he says, "I thought you were paladins. Paladins don't desecrate the dead. Isn't that a sacrilege? Isn't that part of your creed that you don't desecrate the dead?" He's within earshot of Zechariah as well, and he looks at Zechariah and says, "You're a paladin as well. Isn't this a sacrilege?"
I don't think that we should be messing with these coffins at all, but this party is an eclectic mix. And he does kind of look at Aaron and does kind of say, this is probably something that we shouldn't be involved in.
Says the necromancer.
Well,
Dawn looks up that she has a point.
I don't know if
All right.
I haven't felt convicted from the Alpha Bog on having these servants, because these servants are in.
I rolled a strength check of 16, and I'm taking my mace to the blood zombie thing.
Okay. You roll the 16 against the blood elemental.
Yeah.
You have to be within range of him unless you're throwing your mace.
Let's bring it on. Come on, buddy.
So moving over to him.
Yep.
Rolls a 16. What is the blood? The blood elementals is what, 14? Yeah.
Yeah, 14. Yeah, 14.
He is also undead. So, but 14 does hit. 16 does hit So roll for damage.
Which one do I roll?
If you used your
Which damage
roll,
dice?
roll your mace.
Yeah. Let's see. Mace. There it is. Look at that.
Fisher Blue is flying the coop, so to speak.
Yes, I want no part of this nonsense.
There it is. The bludgeoning of 8. 8 damage.
Damage. Okay.
Yeah, it was 8.
Zechariah.
So are you okay? So let's clarify a few things here, which is a good point to do. So this blood elemental, this undead blood elemental, we're gonna use the stat blocks as it was originally intended, or are you just gonna make this thing just a zombie stat block? Which I can see either way.
It is the original stat block.
Okay.
For this character. Now, it is, from my perspective as the DM, it is half the amount of hit points that it had when it was original, before it was undead. Okay. So instead of it having, 95 hit points, it has half that much.
Understand.
Okay. The same thing is true with the zombie mimic, or the undead mimic. It's halved as far as its hit points are concerned. Now,
I got you.
Now, as far as our last game was concerned, the blood elementals hit points were actually reduced. They were not 95, which is the normal. It was 60.
Right.
So
it was what?
Half of 65 for the blood elemental.
So round down, so
half. So it would be
60,
32.
32, and he took 32, and he took 5 from the shifting of the right, the gate, the stairs, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Right. No, I marked down. Yeah, the mimic took 2, and he took 5. So that's putting him at 27. And how much did you do?
He did 8 points of damage.
And then, so he's at 19. Because he has damage resistances, are you ixnaying the damage resistances, or are you keeping them?
He doesn't have any damage resistances.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the final thing. Okay. And then the final thing, I have complete control of this blood elemental, right?
You do. We're using it. As long as you have the staff, yes.
Right. Yeah, the spear. Yeah, the black eye spear. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll command the blood elemental not to retaliate. And I'll, ask Aaron, I'll say, if you want to kill the blood elemental, or if anyone else has a problem with us having these servants that I've created, they can die. I'm not beholden to them. But I think that they're a valuable asset for what we're doing. But if she's going to continue to attack the blood elemental, I'm going to make sure that the blood elemental does not retaliate.
Sure.
So if she wants to beat it into a pulp, that's fine.
The way I'm seeing this is that the oath of the paladin has come into jeopardy because of creating an undead creature, whether its intended use is to use it as a defense or attack other beings or not. So there's that was it a crisis of conscience that plays into it. But that's from the outside looking in, from the DM point of view, or from another player point of view.
Sure.
It is a it's a very interesting dynamic. So the
right, and the way I'd sold it to myself was that it was risen to be used as a force for good.
I understand that.
But like I said, if I start to feel convicted, you're saying by the Alpha Bog, about having these undead servants under my command, well then I will participate in destroying them also.
All right, Matt, did you have something?
Yeah, I would say it's probably depending on their oath, though. As a outside of the game of understanding how paladins get their power is by their oaths. So depending on what their oath or what their subclass would be depending if it's conflicted or not. Because you have an oath of vengeance path, well, that will be take vengeance against something. That's where they get their power from, not necessarily from just a deity. That will be a cleric, more or less, or a sorcerer. Or a hexblade or a warlock, where they get their powers from something other than their convictions and their oath of that they took.
I understand that.
So it's just going to be depending on the oath that they took, the way I look at that.
Bradley, what you got?
As the author of the deities of the Iron Realm, I will clarify this. As a follower of the one true Bog, Erin is well within her oath, doing what she's doing. As a paladin of the Alpha Bog, Zechariah is also well within his oath to maintain and use these undead. So that's where the conflict would be, because using the undead under the pantheon is perfectly acceptable, but under the one true Bog, it would be an abomination. So that's a religious conflict that they may want to work out, for the benefit of the party
instead of tonight. But in this case, I think it is safe to say that both of you are justified in what and how you're doing things. Thank you, Bradley, for bringing that up. If we can come to an agreement between the two that you'll talk it through, whether in-game, out-game, whatever you want to do. If you want to do it in-game, obviously not tonight, but Erin has essentially made her feelings known as far as that is, as the blood elemental is concerned. And obviously Zechariah feels differently. But if we can come to if the two of you can come to an agreement tonight, then you can tell Relpec to take a flying leap as well, in how you're doing things. So
my entire objective here is to help Relpec find this missing orb. So it's not to look through coffins, desecrate the dead, create an army of undead minions. I'm not, I'm those things. If Erin wants to destroy this blood elemental, I'll offer the mimic up too. My whole thing is I want to help Relpec find this thing. Okay, and we don't have to do it with undead servants. So there's nothing, I'm not going to buck up against Erin. I'm not going to try and argue. As far as I'm concerned, kill them and let's continue on. And let's leave all the coffins alone. And let's help Relpek find the ball to complete the telescope.
Rhea, what you got?
I'm just gonna ask like a general question. Is there a possibility that whoever did his telescope just fall apart, or did the enemies take it and hide it specific places? Because if they're being hid in specific places, there is a non-zero chance that they wouldn't be put past to put this in one of the coffins. So just a little clarification on that, if that's all right.
As I recall, and the rest of the group can say yay or nay to this, that the items were found in general areas. They weren't specifically hidden below or within other items. Is that true to say, Bradley and Matt?
I want to say I think one of them may have been in a box or something, because I remember it being on a pillow.
Okay.
I don't remember if that was in the wide
I found
open.
Was on top of a pillar on a pillar, or a pillow on a pillar. That was
in the center.
It was actually,
yeah, that had a trap in it too, as I recall. So
which Bronson fell for.
It's kind of I think there's a smattering of items where it was just dropped somewhere, and found, and then other places that it's kind of both. So it's not quite clear, but I mean, busting open each of the coffins, I mean, that's completely up to y'all.
I agree with Zechariah, and that we should probably just skip the coffins at this point and just go on a thorough but efficient search of the area to where it would make the most sense to find this piece.
Does that meet with your or is that acceptable, Aaron? Moving forward, okay. So, all right.
Well, Aaron, I mean, do you want to destroy these things? They're not going to resist. They're like I'm not going. Hey, there it is. Look, Kingfisher Blue found it.
It had found it almost immediately.
It's a house.
I had those exact same things as a kid. Holy crud! That just brought back. I just had a flood of memories. Oh, thank you, Bradley. Okay. So, Relpek, obviously looks both at Aaron and at Zechariah. I didn't mean to steer you the wrong way, but knowing paladins the way that I know paladins, I did want to bring that up. But I certainly understand and respect both of you in your beliefs and how you do things. It just I didn't want to cause a fuss, and I apologize.
Your input is invaluable,
Okay.
Relpek.
So,
Now, help us find this ball.
okay.
I found it.
Lead.
There we go. So, everybody follow me.
I mean, he seemed pretty animated to bound up the stairs and to kind of.
He's excited. He just started kind of going in a different direction. And of course, now we're off the map, so I have to change the map.
Delicioso.
Theo and Kat, are you standing still, working on your tongue, or are you going with everybody else?
A tongue-in-cheek moment.
We're trying to take things slow for the time being.
Okay. So he looks around, and he recognizes that he sees places where he has been before. Obviously, it has been a long time, and he kind of stops and looks at several of the caskets and looks in different directions, and it's like, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. And continues to go. And but I want to say that make sure that I didn't just go in a different direction.
There's a wall there.
Yes.
Perfect. There's a wall.
I know there's a
You
wall.
didn't say the
I
magic
knew it.
words.
I know where it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, it's not that easy. That's why some of us go through a wall.
He stops at. I gotta make sure that I can here so that everybody in the audience can see.
Wait a minute.
He stops by one of the caskets and looks at it and says, "Huh. Last time that I was here, that was closed, and now it's open." And he kind of looks into it and looks at the satin. In this case, it's red satin instead of being white satin, and it does have a little pillow in there. And he kind of puts his hand out and he brushes it aside, and then kind of goes, huh, "That's interesting," and then continues going forward.
Not that sure I'm fond of the implications of that.
It's a mimic.
I plan on going into fashion design after my adventuring career, so.
I mean, at this point, we can just assume it's a mimic, and Royal Peck knows it.
Yeah, Tallnar, all you need to do is just go, don't. The last time.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah, then Cat will attack it, and Theo will have fun, and
Just
there'll be
use
another
that
tongue attachment.
as a scratching post. So, when Relpeck gets to this door, he looks at it and then tries to move it. It's a wooden door. There is no bar across it or anything. It's just a wooden door with hinges. But he tries to put his shoulder up against it to push it in, and he can't. And looks back at everybody and says, can anybody
Try pulling, genius.
what?
I said, try pulling it, genius.
I have pulled that on another one point in time. Why don't you just knock on the door?
Relpeck's a graduate of the Midvale School for the Gifted and Talented.
all you need. So, does anybody want to try the door and you do a strength check?
I mean,
the one that has the strength is in front, so
I'll do an investigation on how to open the door. That'd be more of my speed. But
Could I see if I can see if the door's being blocked by is there any space at the bottom where Luminde can peer under it and try to see what's going on?
No, it's pretty much straight to the floor.
Okay.
there's probably a coin-only bar on the other side.
mini bar.
One of those bars that's stuck in the floor and then up into the door itself. You need to push it.
Yeah, we used to have one of those. My ex-wife took it with her when she left.
So it's like the stuff we have at work, Brad. Right at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school locks. Genius.
Oh.
So, strength check. Who's doing it?
I rolled a 15.
15. You managed to budget just a little bit, but it won't open. any further than a couple of inches. That you can see that there is a light coming from inside through the little sliver of crack that's right there. But other than that, you can't see it.
And again, you're allowing the blood elemental to have its abilities.
Yes.
The elemental can take a liquid form, and it can enter a hostile creature's space and stop there. It can also move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide.
Okay.
So, is there under that door? Is there an inch
There's
gap?
Or at least a side.
sliver of space that Lomondé has opened up that you probably could get that elemental through.
Because you said that there was light coming out from under the door.
Not under the door, through the side of the door. Okay.
If you think that you've created an inch wide space, we could send that blood elemental into that room.
Well, it says at least an inch. I mean, up to an inch.
Right. Not.
It can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing in itself. So I guess that would mean it could go even smaller.
So
Yeah, I mean, I would say it could, liquefy, pacify itself through, see if it's, permissible or not.
okay.
So I'll send it up there and send it through the door.
All right. Send it on up.
I don't know if you want to take it off the map or whatever you want to do. I'm assuming,
The
it just says I command it. So I'm sure if it's on the other side of the door, I'm assuming I'm still in command of it.
yes.
That's going to be your call. I mean,
the elemental, squeezes itself into almost paper thin line from the ceiling of the hallway to the bottom, and almost like a sliding a piece of paper or parchment through the sliver of the door. You can hear the almost like liquid water, kind of like a ripple effect as it goes through the sliver in the door. And once it's in, you hear kind of this splash or splat as the elemental reshapes itself into its normal oozy form, blood form, and it just stands there. You can see.
well, I command it. I'll command it to open the door.
It is unable to do so. It doesn't have the ability to open the door.
Bash the door. Break the door.
Okay.
I tell it to destroy the door.
Roll a strength check.
Strength check on the blood elemental. A whole 7.
It's unable to break the door. And in fact, as you watch the shadow of the form of the elemental, you see that it's shrinking. The shadow is shrinking, and it gets smaller and smaller, or lower and lower to the floor, and then it disappears, and you don't hear any sort of noise from the other side.
Do I feel it? Can I command it to come back through the door?
When you try to, you have no sense of it being there anymore.
All right. I say to the group, I believe the blood elemental has been destroyed.
Well, that's disturbing.
or something has happened to the blood elemental. Relpek, step away from the door. I tell Relpek to come away from the door. Come back to where we are. Come back.
And see, and this is
away
what
from the door.
Undead servants are useful for.
True. Anybody else want to try and do a strength check or
Not anymore, no.
Well, we really don't. I mean, we don't have much of a choice. If Relpex led us here, we have to assume that the other part of the telescope is in here, and we're kind of out of luck. Sink or swim.
Yeah, because Tolnar has no strength to even try with the door, so he's not going to.
so.
Strength is my dump stat as well.
All right. How about our paladins? Do they have any strength?
I rolled a 10.
10. Okay.
Can both Aaron and myself be at the door together?
Sure.
I rolled a 15 as well, if that helps.
15. If the three of you were together,
I'll be on top.
starting to sound like was it Crane from the first Kung Fu Panda movie? And then he's on top, and then there's the snake, and great movie. So if Zechariah and Aaron Stonefell, I'll get it eventually, I promise. If the two of you, in conjunction with Kingfisher Blue, want to attempt to do a strength check to destroy the door, you could certainly do that.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely
Let's
assist
do
with
that.
that.
A fresh roll.
So rolling a strength check.
Okay.
Let me know what you got.
21.
1. Okay. And 3.
A 6.
6. Okay. And then
I'm taking that 15 from before. So.
in other words, you didn't do quite so well this time.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, the three of you together with the 15 and the 6, which is 21, plus the. What did you have, Aaron?
He had a 21. Yeah. There's some synergy.
You have enough that you are able to hit it with enough force that 2 of the slats of the door itself, because it's slatted, snap in on each other, so they basically make a V with the point towards the room, and you can see light coming from inside. So hitting it again, you manage to get it to break open. So there's a piece that is connected to the hinges that kind of flops open on its own, and then the other half falls into the room. What you see before you is at the far end, you see a set of stairs. In the towards the door that you've entered into, there is a water feature. The blood elemental, there is a piece of it that is on top of the outer rim, where the elemental, when it came into the room, hit the water, and water destroys the element. It destroyed the elemental because it touched it. So
don't touch the water.
Yeah, well, an elemental.
Well, if you're a blood elemental,
it's a blood elemental. If it touches water, is destroyed by water. That's within the stat block for the creature. So, but There are 4 candle sticks around the water feature. There is an outer edge that is probably about 1.5 feet wide that you could sit on if you chose to. Then there's a pool of water, and then another a smaller ring of concrete, and then within that there's more water, and then in the very center there is a column that is going up, and in the very center of that column is a ball about the size of a softball that has
I take it.
the etching of what is essentially the entire planet. And Kingfisher, as you lift it up, you can actually see the continent of the Iron Realm with the 3 kingdoms, and the mountains are etched very similar to that. Very similar to, if I can get it from up here.
Dusty.
Wow, and call Relpec in. Yeah, call Relpec in here.
Hold on.
I call Relpec in.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Calm down.
The group needs to head out.
Get your
Dun,
excited.
dun, 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 dun. We did it!
Can you guys can you see the pop out? Does it come up?
No.
I don't see it.
I didn't see anything pop out.
Show to players. There we go.
I see it, yes.
Okay, so you guys should be able to see all the pieces, including the globe ball that's at the bottom. And back to the room because it won't let me in. Come on.
I hear you knocking, but you can't come in.
Okay, so Relpec comes into the room and he sees the ball in Kingfisher's hands, and he starts jumping for joy. And says, "You can't even get the words out because I can't get the words out." Found it. You found the missing piece. So what we need to do is everyone needs to gather together. We need to gather all the pieces, and then we need to exit out of here. Because we won't be able to see anything if we are inside. So, Relpec starts to go towards the other set of stairs and starts to climb. Is everyone else following him, or
I'm shadowing him. I'm shadowing. When he takes a step forward, I take a step forward.
all of the tokens decided all at once?
Yep.
Mass exodus.
We are out of here.
We are cold. Okay.
Well, I was going to
Yeah.
take a bird bath, but it's a blood bath instead, so never mind.
Let's see. Give me just- I need to move your tokens from one. Yes.
Oh no, I didn't make it.
No.
You're all the way out in the abyss.
I'm not here. Oh, there. No. Nope, I'm not there. You lost me, Dungeon Master.
No, if you scroll out, you're on the far. You're out in the white on the right.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
went to the staircase first. Remember?
Oh, goodness. All right. I'm in the whole of the room.
There you go.
All right.
What is the token right in front of me?
That's a blood elemental that's no longer there.
Does not exist. Weird.
Just but a memory.
Let me see if I can get this to work.
That globe was very dusty. I've got dust all over me now. Sitting on my bookshelf for 10 years.
Well, and look at that. It actually came up to being needed
Yes.
tonight. Let's see.
Apparently, we all like to move it, move it.
Yes, I am King Julian, and I love to move it, move it.
All right. And then. All right. The only one that's not here is Hugh. He runs from the other side of the room with you. I need to get to you.
You tree.
Sheep. Do I have the sheep?
Oh, wait, it could be a Mandarin. Yusan. Which is Mandarin for 3.
You. Oh. We need you.
Ew, whoever was that? That came out of nowhere.
Weird guess.
Or if it's a Korean sheep, it could be Yuset.
Under sheep? I think it's under sheep, isn't it? Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. My upstairs neighbors are deciding to stomp again.
Oh, lovely. They're doing tap dances.
No, they're just very heavy footers.
Okay.
I had an
We've
upstairs
done
neighbor
2
who
years.
liked to apparently dribble bowling balls their floor.
One time at like 3 in the morning, I don't know what the dude, my upstairs neighbor specifically was yelling, but I could hear his entire conversation through the floor. That's how loud he was at like 3.
Okay. So, the Relpec takes all of the pieces and says, follow me, and heads towards the door. Follow me, and you can hear the echo through the entire chamber as he says it. Which I had echo. There we go. Follow me. Can you guys hear the echo?
Yeah.
You can't hear the echo.
Oh, yeah, I sure did.
That
Yeah,
was
we
cool.
did.
That was really cool.
Follow me. Anyway, so
It's so funny watching the lag on the screen as everyone just.
I can't about
Will he be the one that tucks us in at night?
that. He opens these 2 monstrous, like 10 to 15 foot tall doors, double doors. He pulls them into the room, and the cold air from outside and the smell of snow just hits you almost immediately as the doors open. He goes outside onto the snow-covered. What am I trying to think of? Landing, but front area in front of the doors. To either side, you can see that there are 2 large statues of dwarves that are holding a sword and a shield in front of them. And
Stupid monks.
Relpet goes out front and stands in the middle, and he has he motions for Zechariah to come over with the mimic, and then Relpet puts all of the pieces of the telescope onto the top of the mimic and starts to put this telescope together. And then when he does, he lifts it up, and he lifts it towards the heavens up above him, and he looks through the telescope, and he sees, and his face just goes ashen white. Okay. And he like opens his eyes, and he looks at everyone else and says, "Do you see what I see?"
Child, a child.
I look up. Right. I'm looking up into the sky.
Okay. With your naked eye, or actually, everybody roll perception. Roll a perception check. Okay.
Critted with a 1. Nat 1.
You as well.
One at a time. Kingfisher Blue, what did you have?
I also rolled a nat 1.
Your eyes explode in your head. You had a 1 as well.
I ended up rolling a 2, so I didn't crit. So, but I have a total of 3.
Aaron?
In this moment of triumph, I bury my head in the sand.
Yeah, Aaron?
8.
8. Okay. And then Talnar?
9.
9.
Not the no in German, the number 9.
Day?
22.
Yay! Someone saw
everything.
something.
And Theo and Cat?
15.
Okay.
I think Kat has something in her mouth we can't understand.
Okay,
Okay, well, you can talk to the cat because the cat can speak.
A little tongue-tied at the moment.
In-universe version of Talk to the Hand, I suppose.
Okay. So, Lominde, Kingfisher Blue, and Zechariah, Aaron Stonefell, and Tall, and Theo and Ken. When you look up into the heavens, just looking up, you see nothing other than a winter sky above you, light snow coming down. You smell the crispness in the air, and the liquid of winter just hits you full force. You can smell the not the humidity, but the water in the air. Just like, when you're walking outside in the snow, you can smell the snow. Okay. But you don't see anything above you. Lominde, when you look up into the heavens, just with your naked eye, not the telescope, you can see a shine, like a glimmer of something flashing. Okay. No, it's not a satellite or anything like that. It's just a flash.
That's 5.
The 747.
Relpet hands you the telescope first. And when you look through the telescope at that flashing light, you can see something streaking across, a very long tail behind it. It's an object of some significant size, but it is very far distant. when the rest of you, and basically you can pick up a lot of the features when you look at it of this particular object flying through the atmosphere. When everybody else looks through the telescope and he hands it to each of you and says, "Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it?" Well, obviously, Lominde, you were able to see it with the naked eye, but you're also able to see it with a telescope. Clearly. When everybody else looks at it, Theo and Kat, you don't see it with the naked eye, but you can make out the long tail. You can make out the object that is flying through the atmosphere. The rest of you can make out a circular object of some kind and what appears to be like a long string of a tail of something, but you can't make out any of the details. Relpek takes the telescope from you and spins the globe, and as it does so, and it's spinning, you see the streak of the tail in relief above the planet, and can see a ball at the very tip of it. So there's this long tail of the ball as it's moving. And Relpek looks at it and looks at you, and he says, "Its sister has come before. Now the other sister arrives." And as he does that, the telescope and the ball of the globe stops in its tracks. Just stops immediately. And the comet, or the for lack of a better word, the comet disappears as well, fades away. The ball just kind of into stars and like little flashes of electricity, and that tail dissipates as well. When Relpek lifts it back up and looks up into the heavens to try and look, he pulls it down and he says, "I can't see it anymore." That doesn't mean that it won't come back, but it means that the sister's not ready to arrive. Lominde, when you look up into the heavens with your naked eye, you can't see it either. It's gone.
Did you clean the lens, Mr. Relpek?
It kind of eyes you, and his one eyebrow kind of pops up, and it's a big bushy eyebrow, and he goes, "I haven't cleaned that in years."
Oh, I ask him, what is the interpretation? What is his interpretation of this? What does this mean, Relpek?
Well, you know that the kingdom thinks that I'm insane. They've always said that I'm crazy, that this is never going to happen or has never happened. But I know that the two sisters were together, and then one split from the other and already arrived.
All right. Well, waiting on the other sister.
Waiting.
Some say she's insane, but make a blank space and write her name. All right.
I don't know, and I'm going to have to continue my research. and I'm going to have to continue to look to the heavens and continue to use the telescope. And all I can do is to say thank you for rescuing me, for destroying the Medusa, for destroying the Yanti, and for bringing me hope that I can continue to try and find out when the sister is going to arrive. Because
Who was the child that was working with you?
that is my nephew. Or he is my nephew. And I hope that he is still there. And I hope that he is
We left him at our restaurant, the Saltine Keg, with the manager Todd. I'm sure that Todd has taken good care of him.
Good. So, with that being said, I think that if I need to go home, and I would love for you to come with me, unless you have somewhere up here in the mountains that you still need to go. I think at least my work is done. I don't know about yours, but I am confident that if there are still members of the Dwarven Order that this was their home, I'm sure that they will be grateful for being able to get this monastery back. I don't know if they'll be able to pay you, but I know that you definitely they will be in your debt forever. So if you're ready to go, I'm ready to leave and to go where we need to go. Back to right.
Yeah, I'll escort him. Obviously, I'm going to escort, or I will sign on to escort Relpec back to his laboratory, his home, wherever.
And
my home is still a long ways away, so I will also.
I'll sign on to escorting.
Okay.
Yes. Same.
So, that being said, that is the conclusion of our campaign in Er'fro'ren.
Wow.
And the party will make its way back from Er'fro'ren to Havenwood, we will actually pick up again in 2 weeks back in Havenwood. It has been this has been a long journey for all of us, for those that have not been a part of the party for more than a couple of and a half or so, since we started in April. I know this is brand new to you, and then those of you who have been with us since the very beginning of the campaign, this has been a highlight. I'm just ecstatic that we've been able to complete this. And I could say truthfully that, audience, I appreciate you being a part of our journey through Er'fro'ren, which means frozen. For those of you who don't know,
yes, I looked it up.
Is an actual word in the not the English language, but
So what you're saying, Chris, is now it's time for us to let it go?
yes, let it go. But
This what an epic. I know that just myself, really quick. Came into. At some point I found out actually what episode I appeared for the first time. But not even being here for all of it, I mean, it was epic to me. I mean, it was pretty wild, to go through it. So, like Matt, that's been here from the start. I mean, it's
Well, yeah.
almost like
Allison
sending
and
a
I were
kid to
in the
college.
original.
Okay.
Even before Iron Realm, it was the Battle of the 12 Armies. We were in so that
How
was
old? Actually, yeah. What grade was Allison in school when you started this,
Oh,
Chris?
well, I was 16 at the time,
Nice.
and now I'm 22.
Wow.
So
Wow,
I
there you
spent
go.
6 years doing this.
That's awesome. Wow. There you go.
So
I'm a legacy.
a lot of our memories and a lot of things that we're bringing up now are things that we're going to talk about next week during our 50th episode, about everything that we've gone through from the very beginning, from the humble origins of the Iron Realm to now. We'll have that opportunity to really talk about it, and
Neat.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to have some of our former members of the Iron Realm and what was originally called the Weekly Wednesday Warriors was what we started out as, the WWW. But Iron Realm has really taken on an entire it's a beast of its own, so to speak. And
we've got merch. We have merch.
That's right. We are working on merchandise that folks can buy if they want to, including shirts and hoodies and keychains and tumblers, and we will have other things too. The proceeds from it, part of which are going to go towards upkeep, the things that we do, computers, etc. But my hope is that we will be able to collect a certain amount of money from this to give to a charity, whether it is I can't think of the name of the group. It's one of our Discord things. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
Was it the one we did for one of the holiday campaigns?
yeah, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But when we do
Extra Life.
Extra Life.
Extra Life. Yes.
Extra Life is a wonderful program that works with local hospitals and children in need care, and it's through gaming. So we will probably use that as our avenue for charitable work. But the great thing is Bradley is showing off the shirt. His shirt in particular is the Kingfisher Blue one. It has Kingfisher's token on it, and then a nice little phrase around
Nice.
it. And
Yeah, that really is cool.
for everybody. But we also have a couple of Iron Realm shirts, hats, you name it, we're doing it. So
Are we ready to put the link? Can we put the link down in like the little, I know like a lot of streamers are always like, check the link down below.
you're not ready to do
Like
that.
and subscribe.
Okay, right. Like and subscribe, right.
we're actually holding off doing that until we start the next campaign. And
Okay.
the reason is so that our players, the members of the Iron Realm, can purchase the items that they want to, and with the players discount, so to speak, before we go live with it. So,
Oh, I got you. Okay.
but audience,
Wait, you guys got a discount?
but we want to thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of Er'fro'ren. We did have a 2-year hiatus between our episodes, and we picked back up with episode 40. So we've done 10 new episodes over the course of the last 2.5 months. And it's only getting better, because the next campaign, Whispers of the Garnet Moon,
Easy for you to say.
That we're giving out teasers during the course of the show, so make sure that you are watching out for that. and then also listening out for the music that we have for each of our player characters and the Iron Realm as a whole. Those are always entertaining, and we'd love to hear from our audience on which ones you like, which ones you don't like, which ones we need to do different things with. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of this. This has been a labor of love, blood, sweat, and tears. But to me, I absolutely love it. And I love the people that are playing this game and being a part of this. Each of you make it just a wonderful experience. And I didn't know whether we would come back after the hiatus. And each of you and our audience have made it possible for me to not only build this world and shape it with Er'fro'ren, but our old campaigns and new campaigns that are coming that everybody is contributing and being a part of, and I'm just ecstatic about it. So without further ado, we will see you next week for episode 50, which is a celebration, and we hope that you will be here and will tune in. Until then, we hope that you have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and until we meet again, let's roll.
In the shadows of the realm we find his light. Oslo shines a beacon through the night. Creator of worlds, his artistry divine. In the Iron Realm we gather and align. We lift our voices high, echoing his name. In every heart his glory we proclaim. Hallelujah for the one who reigns. In all his creations his love sustains. Oslo the shining, our hearts ignite. In worship and wonder we seek the light. Dungeon master guiding with a steady hand. We walk the paths of wonder in his land. Each challenge faced, we know we're not alone. With Oslo by our side, we're strong as stone. In every battle fought, his strength we crave. Underneath his wings, we'll never be the same. Hallelujah for the one who reigns. In all his creations, his love sustains. Oslo the shining, our hearts ignite. In worship and wonder, we seek the light. With every breath, his truth forsing. In the Iron Realm, our praises live. With every breath, his truth will sing. In the Iron Realm, our praises ring.